Wage theft, like so many issues, sits perfectly at the intersection of huge problem and severely underreported. So I teamed up with James Lee of the channel 5149 to talk about it. I have a video on his channel talking about how it's covered in the media, and he has an excellent video breaking down more about why it happens, and that's the video you are about to watch.
Thanks again, Spencer, for that introduction. Once again, my name is James Lee. I am a graduate of New York University's Stern School of Business MBA program, and I'm here today to talk about wage theft. Yes, if you worked for a Fortune 500 company, especially as an hourly worker, odds are you've been pickpocketed by your employer in the past. So today we're going to dive into specifically what constitutes wage theft, how big of a problem is it, expose how companies get away with it, and what we can do about it. So what is wage theft? To put it simply, wage theft is the failure to pay workers the full wages to which they are legally entitled. And it could take many forms, including but not limited to minimum wage violations, paying workers less than the legal minimum wage, overtime violations, failing to pay a non-exempt employee time and a half for hours worked in excess of 40 hours per week, off-the-clock violations, asking employees to work off the clock before or after their shifts, meal break violations, denying workers their legal meal breaks, pay stub and illegal deductions, taking illegal deductions from wages or not distributing pay stubs, tipped minimum wage violations, confiscating tips from workers or failing to pay tip workers the difference between their tips and the legal minimum wage, and employee misclassification violations, misclassifying employees as independent contractors to pay a wage lower than the legal minimum. All that sounds kind of esoteric and very technical, so maybe TikTok can help us out.
Hey, what can I do for you? Yeah, I'm looking at my bank account and it says I made $15 billion less than I should have last year. Oh, no, did someone steal from you? We gotta get to the bottom of this. Thanks, yeah, I'm glad you care. Got you, man, we're family here. By the way, could you work until midnight tonight? That's kind of outside my normal hours. Oh, don't worry, it's off the clock, so no one will know. Wait, if I work more than 40 hours a week, don't I have to get overtime? Well, we could do that, or we could keep it between us, because we're like a family. Also, we're gonna pay you less than minimum wage. Okay, so that's not legal. It's a temporary thing. You know, like, the money's tight right now, and like, and we're family, right? Like, and you're my son, and I'm your dad. Are you the one who's been stealing from me? I could report you for wage theft. You're fired.
Ha, family, that does cover a manner of all sins, am I right? And the $15 billion is not an exaggeration. Based on a study from the Economic Policy Institute, employers steal $15 billion a year from U.S. workers by paying less than the minimum wage. And that could be on the conservative side of estimates, with some studies finding as much as $20 to even $60 billion of labor is stolen every year.
Per year, somewhere between $20 and $60 billion of labor is stolen from workers in the US. More than Madoff stole every year. More than all other property crime. More than every stolen car, burglary, shoplifting, all that stuff combined.
Holy crap, when you put it in that context, it's infuriating, absolutely infuriating why this isn't talked about more every day. This should be in the news, like, today, $41 million was stolen from workers. By the way, Spencer will be breaking down the media's coverage of wage theft on my channel, so be sure to check that out after this video. A link will be in the description below. And according to another study entitled Grand Theft Paycheck, the large corporations shortchanging their workers' wages, published back in 2018, Walmart takes the top spot for companies with the largest cumulative wage theft penalty totals, with $1.4 billion in total wage theft settlements and fines. Is that all that surprising though? Probably not. But interestingly, half of the top dozen are banks and insurance companies. You got Bank of America, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, State Farm. Probably also not that surprising, I guess. These guys are very good with the numbers, and they've been known to be a little bit cavalier with the rules in the past. But the question is, why? These are some of the largest and most profitable corporations in the world. Why do they feel the need to steal from their employees? Well, to answer that, we got to go back more than 50 years to the headline of this 1970 New York Times Magazine article written by the famed American libertarian economist and statistician Milton Friedman. And that headline is entitled, The social responsibility of business is to increase its profits. And ever since then, the idea of shareholder primacy, the principle that the only goal of business should be to maximize shareholder wealth, has been every business executive's guiding light, almost without exception. And every quarter, Wall Street comes a-knocking in the form of a quarterly earnings report, and they have certain expectations and forecasts in mind, so it could have a very dramatic impact on your company's share price if you don't meet these forecasts. And you could see this kind of drop that executives are desperate to avoid. So if you're an executive, what do you do when the numbers aren't as, say, robust as you'd like to see? Well, maybe we cook the books a little bit. And so here's a simplified example of how wage theft might play out. So let's say a national retailer realizes that they're going to be just short of analysts' earnings forecasts. Of course, the shareholders are going to want to see performance that exceeds those forecasts. So executives at that company might direct their regional managers to stop paying so much overtime while maintaining the same level of productivity. And this directive can trickle down to the individual store managers who now make employees, let's say, work through part of their lunch breaks without paying them overtime. And as the weeks and months go by, the unpaid time from the shorter breaks adds up to wage theft. And of course, a more favorable bottom line. And this phenomenon has been documented in academic research as well. When companies barely meet or beat earnings forecasts, watch out for wage theft. Recent research provides an important tip-off on the relationship between wage theft and pressure on firms to financially perform. And that unfortunately results in lower take-home pay for employees, meaning that many of them have to rely on federal welfare programs to survive. For example, based on a study commissioned by the Government Accountability Office, a nonpartisan congressional watchdog, Walmart employs about 14,500 workers in the states of Arkansas, Georgia, Indiana, Maine, Massachusetts, Nebraska, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Washington, who rely on Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits, aka food stamps, while McDonald's employs about 8,780 SNAP recipients in those states. So one could actually argue that we, the taxpayers, are subsidizing corporate theft to make them look better to their investors. Go figure. But what about laws? Well, yes, we do have a few, but according to ABC News reporting, companies have little incentive to follow the law. The Labor Department's Wage and Hour Division, which investigates federal wage theft complaints, rarely penalizes repeat offenders, according to a review of data from the division. The agency fined only about 1 in 4 repeat offenders during that period. Some companies are doing a cost-benefit analysis and realizes it's cheaper to violate the law even if you get caught, said Jen Round, a labor standards enforcement fellow at the Center for Innovation in Worker Organization at Rutgers University. Okay, this is speaking from my personal experience, both in business education and while working in a company. Decisions are made in spreadsheets. They just are. So starting from the time you're getting your MBA, you're trained to make decisions by running the numbers. So naturally, managers and executives have been conditioned to make decisions in a vacuum based on running various financial scenarios in Excel and then picking the one with the greatest returns, irregardless of what kind of human impact that decision might have. So in this case, they're running an analysis and concluding that it's more financially beneficial to just break the law. So that's what they're going to do. So what can be done? Well, workers can file a complaint with the state's labor or employment department or with the U.S. Department of Labor. But unfortunately, according to the Wage Justice Center, 83% of workers who win their wage theft cases, let alone report them in the first place, never see a dime in compensation. So in order to end this upward redistribution of wealth from the masses to the elite, I think we have to disassociate money from politics, which is right now currently working overtime to prevent the passing of the PRO Act. Right? We see in this case on your screen, tech giants pouring in millions of dollars to lobby against the bill. A bill which would enshrine protections for workers by introducing penalties for violating workers' rights, expanding collective bargaining rights, and creating the conditions for fair union elections. that's it for me. I hope you found this video about wage theft helpful. If you'd like to learn more, click the link on your screen or in the description below and head on over to my channel 5149 with James Lee to find Spencer's analysis of the media's coverage of wage theft, along with other videos of mine. So every week I release videos about business, politics, society, so be sure to check that out if you feel so inclined. And of course, I appreciate Spencer for letting me come on to his show, so be sure to subscribe to his channel if you haven't already done so. Thanks so much for watching.